What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about Luna Classic, more specifically about the burn mechanism of Luna Classic, why I think it's so important and why I think everybody's underestimating this. I'll explain this all in this video. Please stick around towards the end of the video. I have a couple of free bonuses again for you. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, guys, so here we are on CoinMarketCap. Obviously, right now the market's relatively slow. It's been a bit red day again, so we're still a little bit in the sideways movements. We can see this on the price chart of Luna Classic as well. And it's relatively the same for pretty much the entire market, but that does give us the time to research things like this burn mechanism. Now, I've done a little bit of research. I've got a little bit of AI to help me with that and to make it easier to understand. But basically, when the supply is burned throughout transactions, total supply goes down. With the same market cap and lesser of the total supply becomes circulating, the price of the coin will go up. Now, obviously, Terra Luna, because it crashed, it printed like 6 trillion coins, so it has a lot of tokens to burn. But there is a thing that could make that happen relatively quickly. And even already right now, we have been burning quite a lot of tokens. And I think if we get a few things going our way, we can see a massive increase in that burn, possibly a repeg of that USTC. And I think early holders like us right now will be very well rewarded for that. But firstly, if we look at the price chart right now, like I said, it's relatively sideways. You can see how that indicator I use, by the way, bounced off right off that level again. So honestly, I'm loving this indicator. It's still very precise. Still use it pretty much every day. And I actually did buy a little bit more on that same dip because it's also relatively the same price as my previous buys. I basically bought that dip, and that dip. And if you want to use the same indicator I use, you want to use the same indicator as I use, which also basically predicted that big jump. Skull Crusader Signal Basic. I have a link to it in the description. I'll post the link in the comments as well. If you click on that link, you see a video of me going more in depth and explaining how to use the indicator. But apparently it has a 90% win rate. I use it more on the investment side, but it's also very good on day trading, specifically on a 15-minute time frame. So if you want to be more precise in your trades, you can use that. But back on Luna Classic, let's grab this really quick. So, misconceptions. A burn is a price pump. True. A burn does not necessarily boost the price. Doesn't have to do. What it does do is it reduces the supply. Less supply with the same demand, basically the same amount of money in the market cap, which equals that demand, will increase the price over time. However, it's relatively slow. So it will not burn an amount so that the price will increase 30% on the daily. At least not with the current volume. You'd need a massive volume spike. So that won't happen. However, you own a token which you know is being traded, which you know is generating volume, which you know, which we all think is going to do well in the future. The supply decrease over time is comparable to a staking reward. Because you hold the same amount of tokens, the value of them increases naturally without you having to buy more. And top that, if the market cap also increases, you get double benefits, and the supply decrease and the market cap increase. So that's why that burn is so important. And I have a calculation which I think is very interesting. I don't think a lot of people did this calculation. I think that's very interesting to see that, and supports long-term holding. But if what is happening, what I think is happening in the background, I think we could see a massive price increase on Luna Classic a lot sooner, because there's so much basically old school interest in Luna Classic, but also CZ of Binance interested in Luna Classic. And let's be real, there has been sketchy trades done by Binance in the past, sketchy volume moves, etc. And they have a stake in this. And I'm firmly believe that if CZ has a stake in something, he's going to do whatever he can to increase his profit as well. And he's very influential in the crypto space. So all those factors combined, I think, could massively increase the volume on Luna Classic. It doesn't even have to increase the market cap per se. Usually that comes with volume, higher value. But if they massively increase the volume, they will massively increase the burn rate, which massively supplies or drops the circulating supply. And let's just grab this. So Terra Luna Classic's burn rate of 1.2%, which they announced on transactions on basically only on centralized exchanges, and daily trading volume of around 19 million, which is the current daily trading volume. Today they had like $19 million in trades. But if that happens, how much do they burn daily, weekly, yearly? So let's look at that. So daily, about 2.5 billion, weekly 17 billion, monthly almost 74 billion, and yearly almost 900 billion. So that is already massive amount of Luna Classic. Only the burn rate was lower, and Binance basically didn't implement the burn rate for customers, but they're burning their trading fees. So it's a little different, but luckily our AI takes note of that and calculated it based on that. But it burns 50% of his Luna Classic trading fees monthly. So this is a Binance move. What I already said, that Binance has a stake in this. So they're doing this to also increase the value of their own holdings. And it's only trading fees, so it's money they generate anyway. So it's costing them, but it's not really costing them. It's less profits now for them for a bigger return in the long run, hoping to also spark institutional interest. So I think they wouldn't be sacrificing their profits if they weren't sure that it was going to do something. Now, with the current circumstances and circulating supply of 5.4 trillion roughly, which is right now, it has that supply right now. And what if it has to go to its pre-crash level of approximately 350 million tokens? It would take almost 50 years with the current volume. But that being said, the current trading volume is very low. This used to be the third biggest crypto in the world, which now is XRP, or at least was XRP for a time. And I asked it, what if it would reclaim that third spot in trading volume? Like, let's say, what if it goes back to that volume of XRP? So it must burn 99.99% of the current circulating supply, which is sorry, which is the total annual burn. 30 burn. 30. Oh crap. I messed that up a little bit. But what if it goes up to the daily trading volume comparable to, let's say, XRP? So if it goes back to that XRP, it would only need 23 days to hit that. 23 days as opposed to almost 50 years. That's how big of a difference that. And it technically doesn't have to burn all those tokens. And they're also going to implement USDC, their stablecoin, in this. So eventually they're going to repeg that, which will require a bigger burn or a manual burn. I'm not 100% sure how they will do that. But to me, all signs are pointing upwards on this. To me, this looks like something. This looks like a no-brainer to me. This is one of the most bullish things I think could happen to a token like this. Especially, we don't even need massive interest right now. What we need is to keep those burns up. And as long as people are trading it, as it's relatively volatile, that means the more volatile it is, the more people will be trading it, the more we will be burning it, the more the price will increase regardless of bigger investors. But I think if bigger investors, especially crypto investors, look at this, I mean, this is basic math, and math doesn't lie. So this is quite simple. To me, it screams that this price is going to go up. So it's a relatively simple concept. I think not a lot of people are looking at this. And I know saying that it'll reach the trading volume of XRP, the daily trading volume of XRP for 3 days, is a long shot. But even if it doesn't hit that, even if it hits half of that trading volume, or it goes back to a 1 billion or a $10 billion market cap and it goes a little below that, that would still mean it will start to massively burn its tokens. And that would still, even if it's not 23 days, maybe it's a year, maybe it'll take a year, it would technically be very well possible to burn off all that excess supply, go back to its original roughly supply of 350 million, and it would be able to regain, even if it would be able to technically go back to its all-time high. Now that is a very long shot, I know, but I mean, for a coin which currently isn't worth not even $1, saying it could technically go back to $1, $10, or $100 a coin, I mean, I don't know. I think it's worth the shot. Like I've been buying it for a while now. I intend to keep buying it while the prices are low like this. But I think this is very well possible. And unless I'm overlooking something here, I think like math doesn't lie. And it's quite simple. And so far, I think the bottom is in. We've talked about this on the other Luna Classic videos as well, where the bottom, I think the bottom has been reached. The people who would want to sell this already have sold. That's why we're also seeing a lot of buying volume on basically these spikes down, because I think that's the bottom. That's the price of people are willing to step in rather big on a token like this. All we need now is more volume. And I think that will come, especially with interest like Binance behind it. And I don't think Binance does this burn mechanism for a lot of tokens, which also shows that they're dedicated to make Luna Classic great again. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. Am I missing something? Oh, and I did promise you some freebies. So, first of all, if you want to use, if you want to buy Luna Classic, if you want to trade Luna Classic, if you want to possibly trade it with leverage, BitUnix is a no KYC exchange. I have a referral link to it. You can use that. It's in the description below. When you use it, you can get up to 10,000 USDTs in free trading boosts or bonuses, etc. Yeah, you can use that. Personally, I use it because it's one of the most secure ones, and I have isolated margin. I like trading on BitUnix because I don't do a lot of margin trading, but when I do, I want to be as safe as possible. So I use their low leverage. And you're able to edit your positions as well as having that isolated protection. And even if you don't want to use this, you can grab the free bonuses. After a while, you can just withdraw it and do something else with your money or trade somewhere else. So yeah, feel free to check that out if not completely fine. Other than that, I also have a completely free Discord channel. There is also a link to that in the description below. And yeah, feel free to check that out as well. If you want to hang out, just talk, find other people who enjoy crypto. It's a free space. I try to share as much of my valuable information in there as I can. And yeah, feel free to do the same or ask me or whatever you like. All right, I'm going to close out the video on this, but honestly, I think people are sleeping. And I know there's a lot of tokens out there that have burns, but honestly, I think, like I said, I think a lot of people are sleeping on this. I think this is one of the more sustainable burns. It's also not a weird amount or cost people a lot. They lowered it to 0.5%, which I actually think is good. And all we need now is more volume. But right now, all crypto volume is. So I think it could, once more volume comes back, like let's say Q2, I've been talking about that quite a bit. Let's say we get more volume around Q2, more interest in Luna Classic as they gain more partnerships, which they are working on, by the way. So if we keep that momentum going, which I think they will with the institutional and the old school interest behind it, I think Luna Classic can have a very good year. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you on the next video. Have a good night.